Yo, what up, Dr. T? Hope your leg is doing super good and everything else. So this is our group, and our question today, or like the topic that we have been working on for the past however long, has been beauty. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to introduce you to the topic and our questions about the topic. We're gonna play something called the color game, which we'll get in like more into depth later. Then we're going to talk about the four perspectives that we have, which will be my perspective, and then Hume's perspective, and then Nigel's perspective, and then Ashley will be doing Plato's perspective. And then at the end of this, we'll have like a resolution, like a analysis period where we're all thinking about like how we can conclude upon the definition of beauty and like what we consider it all to be. So we're gonna start with the color game, and so the point of the color game is to just show like how everybody's likes are different. So these are the colors on the board. So we have purple, orange, blue, green, yellow, and red. So my favorite color out of all of them is the yellow.
Mine's purple.
Purple. Red.
I like all of them.
So the point of that was to show that even though all of the colors are like beautiful, everybody has their own personal preference based upon like what their personality is like and how like they basically like their perspective on the color. So our first question will be, what is beauty? So
To me, everything is beauty, and it's dependent on what's different about each item, and the differences is what makes it beautiful.
Yes, and I think beauty is what makes us unique, what's different about us, and what we feel comfortable in, no matter what people think, what we like, what we feel is good for us, that's it.
Ashley, do you think beauty is social culturally determined, or is it just predetermined?
Socially, culturally.
Yeah, I would think socially, culturally, because you can see like in other cultures, such as like in Africa or whatever, like the people who are like bigger, like in stature and like rounder and fatter, like they're seen to be like more beautiful because they're seen to be rich and well fed. Based upon like here in America, we have like these Victoria's Secret models who literally their arms are the size of like a stick. And like that is seen as beautiful, although like in another region, like being fat could be seen as equally just as beautiful. So I definitely think beauty is socially, culturally determined. So our third question is, how do societies determine what is beautiful? Nigel?
I think a common way, especially in American society, is through the media. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, the media is definitely like a big part of like, I definitely think like most of the girls like walk around, like teenagers, whatever, from like ages 16 to like 28, walk around and are like, wow, like this girl is like, you know, like they see the Victoria's Secret models walking down the walkway, and like these girls are like super tall and like have no skin, like no meat on their bones, and they're like, you know, that's seen as like confidence, that's seen as being like beautiful. But just because you don't look like a supermodel doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. Like, you know, just because you don't look like what other people want you to look like doesn't mean you're not beautiful. So what is universal beauty?
I think the sunset's universally beautiful, because everywhere you go, everyone's going to say the sunset's pretty.
What about a blind person?
Music, then.
What about a deaf person?
They get the sunset.
Definitely blind.
They can feel a flower and smell it.
I just think like universal beauty would be like accepting one another. Like I definitely believe that there is a lot of like prejudice and like hate in the world, based upon like people's color or people's, you know, views on the world, or like if you're gay or straight, or, you know, like everyone's different and everyone's like an individual in their own way, but everybody like judges everybody based upon like their own opinions. Like I don't know, I just think
That was like golden.
Yeah, I think universal beauty lies in perspective, but I'll get into that later.
okay. So our fifth question is, as we sail throughout life, what changes our perception of beauty?
Experience for sure. You know, like
Yeah.
most people would say that dogs are beautiful, but I've had friends who got bit by a dog when they were kids and they're just terrified of dogs. They don't like them. They think they're just animals like every other, which they are, but they're special. But we love them, so.
But like also like in like Egypt, like cats were like immortalized, like worshipped. So like there's definitely a difference between like there goes like the social cultural like aspect of beauty. Like here, like dogs are man's best friends. In Egypt, like cats are like gods. Okay, so do we want to move into our four different perspectives?
4 perspectives.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to our different perspectives of beauty. So I'm going to start with my perspective of beauty. So I believe that beauty is something that is like your own interpretation. Like I believe that everyone is beautiful, but in their own way. So like you don't have to be like a certain way to be beautiful. Like you can be exactly who you are. And like I believe that that is absolute beauty, is like just being like totally accepting of like the person that you are and like who you've become, and like not worrying about whatever everybody thinks. Like I think that you should be like strong and like feel the way, like, you know, if you make a decision or if you are the way that you are, like you should back it up and own it. Like you shouldn't be like ashamed to be who you are, even though it doesn't like go against like social norms. Like, you know, okay, we're getting off topic. I'm just talking.
But what if somebody thinks, you know, murder is beautiful? They like the insides of people.
Ooh. Well, that's really taking it up a level. Alright, so that wasn't where I was really going with that, but I mean, like, I guess we'll go with
I
it.
think like a middle ground is this belief. It's called transcendentalism. It's, you know, people can do what they want as long as it doesn't step on the heads of another man.
Yeah, I believe that like as long as you're doing whatever makes you happy and you're not like harming yourself or others, that you should like be able to do that and be able to like, you know, like free will. Like if you like, you know, like look at her outfit based upon Emily's outfit, based upon, you know, Ashley's hair, and then Nigel's in all black, and then, you know, so it's just like your beauty is based on like your individuality. Like that is what makes someone beautiful, is like their individuality. So
Yeah.
Cool.
that's how I feel.
Is it you or?
You know.
Okay, so Jung believes that beauty is subjective, and one of his quote is from the Standard of Taste and Other Essays. It says that beauty is no quality in things themselves; it exists merely in the mind which contemplate them. And he also believed that as human, we will always have different opinions, perspectives of beauty regarding taste regarding beauty, even if we were raised with the same values under the same principles, and that is because we have different, we see and comprehend differently based on our experiences in life. And he also believed that we judge beauty based on our taste, and taste is based on our preferences and desires, and there is no wrong or right opinions for that. And it also believed that expressing our feelings toward an object does not give the object its true meaning and does not represent what is really on that object. And then he says that our internal organs also play a big role in how we view things in regard to beauty and ugliness because of the natural structure of our mind. Some things naturally bring us pleasure and other brings us displeasure. For example, a fruit can be sweet to someone and bitter to someone else, and that is because that depends on the person's taste bud. Taste bud is the cluster of bulbous nervous, it's a biology thing. Okay, and furthermore, he also believes that for a critic to be entitled to the label true judge, he must have a strong sense united to the delicate sentiment improved by practice, and perfected by comparison, and clear of all prejudice. Sorry. Okay. However, we cannot say that taste has no standard because it is based on opinions. It's like saying there is no form of colors because color has been defined as an image created by our senses, and there are people who apply colorblind and still would put color into form. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it did.
We're gonna do an analyze thing, by the way. So, yeah, we'll just like analyze afterwards, because there's a couple things in there that I would argue with.
Of course.
My perspective. I believe that absolute beauty lies in the existence of perspective. There's nothing in this world that everyone without exception would consider to be beautiful, but everyone is able to recognize beauty in their world. For that reason, I believe true beauty lies within itself, in its ability to be perceived by everyone in every different thing. It could be argued that life would be better without differing perspectives. Everyone would listen to the music you like, everyone would accept each other for who they are, but I would argue that perspective is one of the only qualities that separate us from animals. If not for perspective, there would be no music, there would be no art. Men and women would be in constant struggle to survive and reproduce, and nothing more. In a way that is what we do now, but with the rose-colored glasses we wear giving meaning to everything, finding beauty in this world we live in. It could also be said that perspective is not itself beauty, but the vehicle by which beauty is found. But if no one could recognize beauty, what would it even exist? I believe beauty is something created when it is recognized. If we were like animals, living to survive, fucking to reproduce, it may be a perfect world in its structure, but beautiful for no one. That's what I believe.
Alright. Plato believes in the universal beauty, and if we look at the allegory of the cave, you see those that are inside the cave as those trapped in the visible world and blind to truth, and outside of the cave are the forms, and he believes that beauty itself is a form of which beautiful things are consequences of. So things like sunsets or flowers, they're just an imperfect copy of beauty itself, and something like a painting would be a copy of a form, since art itself is a copy of what happens in the visible world. The form beauty is itself eternal, unchanging, and invisible, unlike the things in the visible world which can change and grow old and lose their beauty. The form itself is perfect, and we will never see perfect beauty in this world.
That's kind of like cool, but kind of depressing. I'm never going to be like perfectly beautiful. Thank you, Plato.
With Hume's thing, the idea that in order to be a critic, to judge beauty, you have to, clear yourself from any predispositions, anything like that. I don't think that is humanly possible, because through existence, in childhood, we create those things in our mind subconsciously. We have our predispositions, I like the music I listen to because I grew up listening to it, because it was my friend when I was a kid, and now that is the only thing I find beautiful. But if I hadn't found it when I was a kid, would I still think it's great now? If I had never listened to music before, is that still what I would think now? I don't know. So I don't think it's humanly possible. Maybe it's true. You'd have to clear yourself from any predispositions, but it is not possible in the human world. You'd have to be no one and know nothing.
That's a good point. I didn't like that Hume said that like beauty was part of our biology, like in like our digestive system and stuff. I thought that was kind of ridiculous and gross.
Well, it makes some sense though if you think about it. Like, we have the tastes that we have, and that is something that's part of our biology. That's not. I don't know if that's so much a mental thing as it is just our taste buds like what they like.
It could be genetic instead of.
It could be trained as well. Like if you eat shrimp as a kid, you might like it when you get older. I didn't eat it as a kid. I hate it now.
Yeah, my sister was a vegetarian when she was born, and like she had never tried meat ever, but she was only a vegetarian because my dad was a vegetarian. So like later on, she like ate a piece of chicken and like loved it. So